How do you add products into existing campaigns and ad groups fast with a couple clicks of a button? That's what we're going to be walking through today, how to do this using bulk files. So very common scenario here would be you have a certain campaign set up, ad group set up for a product line, and maybe you have a variation, or one that we run across all the time is that you might have some fluctuations in stock, and so you have an FBA and an FBM SKU for a particular product, and you want to make sure that that FBM SKU is added into all the campaigns where the FBA SKU is being advertised, so you can make sure if like the FBA SKU goes out of stock, at least you're advertising SKU. Or maybe there's a list of campaigns that you would like to add a particular product into, and so you want to do that across quite a few campaigns. And this can be really difficult figuring out, one, where are you even advertising the other products so you can add the additional SKU into it, or two, even if you had, say, a list of campaigns you wanted to add a product to, you still got to go into every single one of those campaigns. You got to click into the campaign, then you got to click into the ad group, and then you got to find the ad, and then you got to click to add the product, etc., over and over and over. And that task can be very tedious. Or if you're trying to click around and remember where one of your products is being advertised, sometimes you can miss one or two campaigns, which could come back to bite you later. And so how can you be confident that you have added your product all of the places that you should be? And how can you make it easy and simple? Let's dive into it. We're going to be talking through bulk files, and this is actually going to be a very quick one today. So if you're not familiar with bulk files, I'm not going to go through exactly what they are. All I'm going to do is walk you strategically through the actual actions you need to take. But the first thing you want to do is you want to go and download a bulk file. And if you're interested in figuring out about bulk files, you want more content, we have a lot of content on this channel about bulk files, but just so you're aware, they are located inside of your ad console. It is a spreadsheet download. So what you would do is you would go here to your account, and then you would click on bulk operations, and you would be taken to this page. Now, what you want to do is you want to select the date range you would like this file to have, and then we're going to select what information we want to include in this. So the date range really depends on if you want to do analysis of performance metrics at all. Meaning, do you want to check on things like ACoS? Do you want to check on things like total ACoS, spend, cost per clicks, all of that stuff? Do you need to do some sort of analysis when you're doing this process, or do you just need to find where this thing is and add it? If you just need to find it and add it, you can do yesterday's date. It doesn't really matter. We just need the rest of the information. If you do want to do analysis, then whatever date range you select here will contain, you'll have the data in this download for that specific date range. So for example, if we were doing some analysis, I probably would select a 30-day date range here because I want a good amount of data to be able to analyze. And just looking at what happened yesterday is not going to be helpful for me. Okay, now the second thing we need to select is what information do we want to have inside of this spreadsheet. One thing that you will want to check is this campaign items with 0 impressions. If this is left unchecked, anything that it does not have an impression within whatever date range you selected is not going to be included in the file. And so if you have particular products that say yesterday didn't get an impression, we're not going to see those in the file, and that would create issues with what we're needing to be able to do today. We can uncheck a lot of these other ones. So we're going to uncheck placements. We will keep sponsored product data. So it also depends on which ad types you want to do this for. Now, full disclosure, this is not going to work for sponsored brands and sponsored brands multi-ad groups. Uncheck these. The reason being is because the ASINs are grouped together, and you can't just like swap out ASINs easily if the campaign's already running. So this is not going to be applicable there. However, we can use this exact same process to add products into sponsored display campaigns that are running. So we might leave that. However, the search term data, that's not applicable to what we're doing today. And so I can leave those out. Once I am done here, what I can do is I will click create spreadsheet for download, and Amazon will know that they need to create a spreadsheet download for me with the information that I've selected here. You're going to see it right here. Now it's going to be processing depending on how much data you have in your account, how many columns and rows and things that Amazon has to put into a spreadsheet for you will determine how long this process takes. But when your sheet is available, you're going to see this download option here. When that is done, you are going to open up your spreadsheet in whatever software you like. I'm using Google Sheets, but you can use Excel just as well. And again, we're going to be walking through the sponsored product campaigns tab. So you can see I have sponsored brands as well as sponsored display. And like I said, this process will work for sponsored display ads as well. So you're going to pop this open right here. All right, so I'm going to go through one, how to quickly find where you want to put the ASINs. And then once you find where you want to be adding in these new SKUs, specifically because bulk files or Amazon advertising runs off of SKUs unless you're vendor central, and then we're talking about ASINs here. However, we're going to go through quickly how you can find where you want to add the new additional products, and then we're going to go through what formatting you need to have it in to add the new products. And trust me, this process is so easy and so quick. It's going to blow your mind. Okay, so very common scenario is I have an existing SKU in my account and I would like to, everywhere that I'm advertising that first SKU, I would like to add in my second SKU. This is very applicable, say, in variation campaigns. Maybe your top selling variation is going out of stock and you want to make sure that your existing, your second best variation is added into those existing campaigns. You might be wanting to do that. And so all you would have to do is I have already created a filter at the top. I'm also going to view and freeze this top row just so it's a little bit easier to navigate. But I'm scroll all the way over and I'm going to find the column with the header name SKU. And again, we're doing a sponsored product ad. It's going to be the very same naming on the headers and, sort of the formatting when you do the sponsored display ads as well. All I'm going to do is I'm going to go to SKU and say, for example, we want to add an FBM SKU 1 to all of the places where I'm advertising SKU 1. So all I have to do is I'm going to check SKU 1, click OK. What this does is it quickly brings up a list. So the entity product is very similar to inside of the ad console. When you click on ad and you see all of the individual products, think of all of these individual rows as this SKU 1 across sort of that ads tab inside of your ad console. And so this product is being advertised. You can see all the campaigns here, all of the ad groups that we are advertising this particular product in. And all you have to do to say everywhere this SKU 1 is being advertised, put the new one. I'm going to copy this information, including the headers, and I'm going to open up a new spreadsheet. Now, you might see people advise just to make changes inside this original spreadsheet. You could totally do that if you'd like. However, my preference is always to leave the original download completely untouched. So I have a reference, my original reference of my original settings, and then create a separate condensed sheet with only the items that I would like to change. One, it's much easier to reference this, kind of condensed version and know, okay, these are the exact changes that I made. And it also allows me to reference exactly how my campaigns were set up in the original file because there's no changes. All right, the only thing you'll need to do is on this SKU section here, where the original SKU is SKU 1, let's pretend that our new SKU that we want to add in here is SKU 1, we're going to call it SKU 1 FBM. Of course, what you would be doing is you would be copying the exact SKU of whatever product you want to add into these particular ad groups. Now, the other thing you will need to do is in the state column, they should all be enabled, which means that they're active. If you see paused on any of these rows, what that means is that this product is paused in this campaign and inside this ad group. So if you wanted to still add your new SKU into this existing campaign and have it active, you would need to put enabled here. Now, I might say, well, it wasn't working well in this one campaign, in this one ad group, and so maybe I don't want to add it into that campaign in that ad group. So what I could do in this case is I would just delete that row, and then I'm not going to be adding this product into this campaign. And again, you can see the campaign name and the ad group names here if you want to identify like what campaign, what ad group, or where is this contained in my account. That was all you'd have to do. Again, if you see enabled here, that means that this is active, and so we can add it into these campaigns. Now, The only two more things we need to do is we need to, this ad ID here, we need to delete the ad ID. So you most definitely need to keep the campaign ID and you have to keep the ad group ID. But because these ad IDs are actually referencing that original SKU that we just kind of swapped out for the new one, you're going to create errors if you leave this one here. And so you need to delete that. And then under operations, we're going to put create. And then I'm going to drag that down so that we can create all of these new products inside of our campaigns and our ad groups. And that is it. That is all you have to do. Find the SKU, swap it out, delete the ad group IDs, make sure they're all active, shove create on this puppy. And then all I have to do here is I'm going to go here. I would download this and I'm going to go back to my bulk file tab. And then I'm going to click choose file. It's going to pop it open. I'm going to choose the file that I just downloaded, upload it, and I will immediately have, it might take a second or two to process, but all of those new products will be created in your account. Again, super easy, super fast. Now, that is how you would look at it if you had, say, those particular SKUs. But what happens is if you have a list of campaigns that you would want your product, this new SKU to be added into. All right, so here's how we would do this. We would want to find the names of these particular campaigns. So I'm probably going to go through and filter our campaign name to find something. So because, again, I kind of made these campaign names anonymous, I'm just going to type a 1 here, and I'm going to assume that the 1 is, I don't know, maybe these are like a specific type of campaign or something. So you can use this campaign name search to do this. You can also use the ad group name as well if there's, say, a list of specific ad groups, or I could filter for all the campaigns that have this particular ad group. I could do that as well. Now, what I'm going to do to make sure that I'm only going to reference the specific campaigns that I need to put this product in, I need to get the campaign ID and the ad group ID one time. I don't want multiples of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select entity. I'm going to do clear here. I'm going to say ad group. So again, I've already filtered for this campaign, and then I potentially already filtered for ad groups. So if I select the ad group, only the ad groups, then I'm only going to get the information for that ad group because you only have one singular ad group. Hopefully that made sense, but if it didn't, it doesn't matter. Just use the filters I just told you. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to copy this, and it's going to be slightly different. We're going to have to tweak one more thing than we did in our original file, but I'm going to pop open a tab here. And so I have a list of all of my ad group entities here. And so very similar to before, I'm going to go to the SKU right here, and I need to enter whatever my SKU was. So say, for example, I want to add SKU 1 into all of these ad groups. Then I would just copy it down. Notice we're not replacing a SKU here, so we're going to have to delete a couple things, and then we're going to have to change one additional column here. Under state, again, we want to make sure that state is enabled, meaning all of these SKUs need to be active. If for whatever reason you wanted to add the SKU and you wanted to add it as inactive, you could keep paused here if you wanted. If you wanted to, you could use paused here. So that way you would still add the SKU, but it wouldn't be active in the account. There's probably more limited use cases for that. So just make sure the state is enabled. All right. Now the things that we need to delete and change. So under ad group default bid, we're going to delete this. We don't need that for adding in products. Anything that is gray, it doesn't really matter because the gray is the informational columns only. So it's not going to give Amazon any information to do anything. This ad group name, you want to delete these, get rid of that. We don't need that. Now, again, keep the ad group and the campaign IDs. That's very important. Under ad IDs, we don't have anything anyway, so we're going to delete that. Now, here's what the one thing that we do have to change is we have to change the entity, because right now these are ad group identities, but we need to tell Amazon, hey, these are not ad groups. These are actually products that we're going to be adding into the campaign. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go back here to this entity, see where we have product ad. Product ad is a designation to tell Amazon, hey, these are products we're adding, where again, the other one is referencing ad groups. Okay, so you got to fix the entity. And the last thing we need to do is in the operations, same as before, we're adding create here. And then we're going to drag it down. And so that's all I would have to do. So that's the way, again, if you don't want to add it by finding existing SKUs, you can also use the campaign, the ad group name searches, and then condense this and then add all of the products in that way. Same thing as before. You're going to go here. You're going to make a download copy of this. You're going to go back to your account, pop this open, bulk operations, choose your file, upload it, and providing you got this formatting right, which is why I'm putting out these videos to help you guys with the formatting, you should be able to upload these to your campaigns. Again, you could see if you know how to do the formatting, how quick and easy that is going to be. So as always, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them down in the comments. And if you have any other things that you're finding very tedious to go through, make sure you add a comment and add a suggestion, because we're putting out content like this all the time on bulk files, and we would love to make sure that you guys get the information you need so you can manage your accounts at scale.